thought I was ready to date again at 52. 3 years post-divorce, therapy sessions behind me, and finally feeling confident in my own skin. But nothing could have prepared me for what happened on that Tuesday night at Romano's Italian restaurant. He filmed me. Actually filmed me having a menopause episode and laughed so hard he cried. Then he posted it online with the caption, "When your Tinder date turns into a comedy show, menopause meltdown, bandianked dating fail." By the time I got home, humiliated and shaking, his video had already gotten 500 views. By morning, 15,000. Complete strangers were commenting on my body, my age, calling me desperate and pathetic. I wanted to disappear forever. But here's the thing about rock bottom. It gives you a solid foundation to build your comeback on. And boy, did I build one hell of a comeback. What started as the most humiliating night of my life turned into something I never saw coming. Because while he was busy going viral at my expense, he had no idea who he was really messing with. And when the internet found out the truth about Mr. Hilarious himself, well, let's just say karma has a very particular sense of humor. This is the story of how my worst nightmare became my greatest victory, and why you should never underestimate a woman who's been through menopause. We've literally survived our bodies betraying us. A little internet troll? Child's play. My name is Sarah, and I'm a 52-year-old marketing director for a mid-sized tech company in Denver. After 23 years of marriage, my divorce was finalized 3 years ago when I discovered my ex-husband's affair with his 28-year-old assistant. Cliché, I know, but the pain was anything but typical. The divorce left me questioning everything about myself. Was I too old, too boring? Had I let myself go? The mirror became my enemy, reflecting back a woman I barely recognized. Graying hair, laugh lines that seemed deeper every day, and a body that was going through changes I wasn't prepared for. Menopause hit me like a freight train at 49. Hot flashes that could melt steel, night sweats that required 3 outfit changes, and brain fog that made me forget my own phone number. My doctor prescribed hormone therapy, but I was still learning to navigate this new version of myself. I threw myself into therapy, joined a gym, updated my wardrobe, and slowly started rebuilding my confidence. My therapist, Dr. Martinez, encouraged me to try dating when I felt ready. You deserve companionship, Sarah. Don't let fear rob you of that possibility. My daughter Emma, 24 and fresh out of college, was the one who suggested Tinder. Mom, everyone uses dating apps now. It's totally normal. She helped me set up my profile, choosing photos that showed my genuine smile and writing a bio that highlighted my love for hiking, cooking, and terrible rom-coms. I was honest about my age. No point in false advertising. My bio read, 52 divorced, rediscovering life's adventures. Love good wine, great conversations, and dogs more than most people. Looking for genuine connection, not games. The matches were sparse but quality over quantity, right? Most men my age seemed to be looking for women in their 30s, which was disheartening but not surprising. Then I matched with David. David, 48, was a divorced father of 2 teenagers. His profile showed a kind face with genuine smile lines, photos of him hiking with his kids, and a bio that mentioned his love for cooking and classic movies. Our conversations flowed effortlessly. He was witty without being crude, asked thoughtful questions about my work, and shared funny stories about his attempts at single parenting. We texted for 3 weeks before he suggested meeting. I know this great Italian place, Romano's. Nothing too fancy, just good food and a chance to see if we click in person too. I was nervous but excited. It felt like the first step toward reclaiming my romantic life. I spent hours getting ready that Tuesday. I chose a navy blue dress that flattered my figure, did my makeup carefully, and even splurged on a blowout. Looking in the mirror, I felt attractive for the first time in years. My confidence was building. Romano's was perfect, dimly lit, intimate, but not overwhelming. I arrived first and chose a corner table, wanting to feel secure in my environment. When David walked in, he looked exactly like his photos, which was already a win in the online dating world. The first 15 minutes went beautifully. He complimented my dress, we ordered wine, and the conversation picked up right where our texts had left off. He was charming, attentive, and seemed genuinely interested in getting to know me. I should have known it was too good to be true. I should have trusted that little voice in my head that whispered, "This feels too perfect." But I was so hungry for connection, so desperate to feel desired again, that I ignored every red flag my intuition was waving. Because what I didn't know was that David had a very different agenda for our evening. While I was hoping for romance, he was looking for content, and my menopausal body was about to provide him with more material than he could have ever hoped for. Everything started to unravel exactly 23 minutes into our date. I know the exact timing because I kept checking my watch, hoping the sudden heat wave washing over me would pass quickly. But this wasn't just any hot flash. This was the mother of all menopausal episodes, and it chose the absolute worst moment to make its grand entrance. It started subtly, a warm sensation creeping up my neck. I excused myself to the restroom, splashed cold water on my wrists, a trick Dr. Martinez had taught me, and gave myself a pep talk in the mirror. "You've got this, Sarah. It's just a little heat. You've handled worse." When I returned to the table, David was scrolling through his phone. He looked up with that same charming smile, but something felt different. There was a glint in his eyes that I couldn't quite place. "Everything okay?" he asked, but his tone had shifted slightly. Less warm, more observant. "Absolutely," I lied, settling back into my chair. The restaurant suddenly felt like a sauna. As we continued talking, I noticed David's responses becoming shorter, his attention seeming to drift. But what really caught my attention was how he kept angling his phone toward me, almost like he was... No, that was paranoid thinking. He was probably just checking messages. The heat intensified. Within minutes, I could feel sweat beading on my forehead despite the restaurant's air conditioning. I discreetly dabbed at my face with my napkin, hoping David wouldn't notice. He noticed. "Wow, you're really glowing tonight," he said with a smirk that made my stomach drop. "Are you feeling all right? You look a little flushed." I forced a laugh. "Just warm in here, isn't it?" I slipped off my cardigan, hoping the sleeveless dress would help. It didn't. "Actually, I think it's pretty cool in here," David replied, leaning back in his chair with an expression I was beginning to recognize as amusement rather than concern. The hot flash was reaching its peak now. My dress was starting to stick to my back, and I could feel my carefully applied makeup beginning to slide. This was exactly the scenario I'd feared when Dr. Martinez suggested dating again. "You know what? Maybe we should order," I suggested, desperately trying to redirect his attention to the menu. But David wasn't looking at the menu. He was looking at me with the fascination of someone watching a nature documentary. "This is fascinating," he said, not even trying to hide his amusement anymore. "I've heard about this, but never actually witnessed it." My blood ran cold. "Witnessed what?" "The whole menopause thing. The hot flashes. My ex-wife went through it, but she was always so dramatic about it. You're handling it much better than she did." The casual cruelty of his words hit me like a slap. He wasn't concerned or empathetic. He was entertained. I was entertainment. "I think I need some air," I managed, starting to stand. No, please sit," David said quickly, his hand gesturing for me to stay seated. "I'm sorry. That came out wrong. I just meant, it's natural, right? Nothing to be embarrassed about." But his eyes told a different story. They were bright with the kind of excitement you see in people who've stumbled onto something they find hilarious. I sat back down, partly because my legs felt shaky, and partly because I was still clinging to the hope that I was misreading the situation. Maybe he was just awkward. Maybe this was nervous laughter. "Shall we get you some ice water?" he suggested, but there was something performative about his concern, like he was playing a role. That's when I noticed his phone again. It was positioned at an odd angle on the table, screen facing up, and I could swear I saw a red recording dot in the corner. "David," I said slowly, "are you recording this?" His laugh was immediate and loud, too loud for the intimate restaurant setting. "Recording? Why would I be recording? That's crazy." But he didn't move his phone, and he didn't stop looking at me like I was the most entertaining thing he'd seen all week. The hot flash was intensifying, and with it, my humiliation. I could feel other diners starting to glance our way, drawn by David's increasingly obvious amusement and my increasingly obvious distress. This was my worst nightmare coming true in real time, and I was trapped in it with a man who seemed to think my suffering was comedy gold. The situation spiraled faster than I could have imagined. What started as an uncomfortable hot flash became a full-blown menopausal crisis, and David's reaction went from inappropriate to downright cruel. "Oh my God, you're really sweating now," he said, not even trying to whisper. His voice carried across the restaurant, and I saw heads turning at nearby tables. "This is incredible. You're like a human sprinkler system." I fumbled for my water glass, my hands shaking slightly. "Could you please keep your voice down?" "Why? It's natural, right?" David's grin was predatory now. "You said so yourself in your profile. You're rediscovering life's adventures." Well, this is definitely an adventure. The heat was unbearable now. I slipped off my blazer, then immediately regretted it as David's eyes lit up with delight. "There we go. Getting comfortable, I see." He leaned forward conspiratorially. "What's next? The blouse?" My face burned with embarrassment that had nothing to do with the hot flash. "That's completely inappropriate. Come on, Sarah, lighten up. You're being way too sensitive." His phone was definitely recording now. I could see the timer counting up. This is just part of the whole dating experience at our age, right? Other diners were openly staring now. A couple at the table next to us whispered to each other while glancing in our direction. The waiter approached hesitantly, clearly unsure how to handle the situation. "Is everything all right here?" the young man asked, his eyes darting between my flushed face and David's obvious amusement. "Everything's perfect," David answered before I could speak. "My date's just having a little technical difficulty. Nothing we can't handle." The waiter looked confused and concerned, but David waved him away dismissively. I tried one more time to salvage the situation. "David, I'm really not feeling well. Could we maybe—" "Not feeling well?" He laughed so hard he snorted. "You're feeling plenty. You're feeling hot, hot, hot." He actually started humming the tune, drawing even more attention. That's when I noticed him adjusting his phone angle to get a better shot of my face. The realization hit me like ice water. This wasn't just casual cruelty. This was planned content creation. "You're really filming this," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "Filming? That's a strong word. I'm just documenting. For posterity." His grin was shark-like now. "This is going to be hilarious. My buddies are never going to believe this." The hot flash reached its crescendo. Sweat was literally dripping down my face now, and my carefully styled hair was plastered to my head. I felt like I was melting from the inside out. "Please stop recording," I begged, reaching for his phone. David pulled it away quickly. Hey, no touching the equipment. This is pure gold. You can't buy entertainment like this." "I'm a human being, not entertainment." "You're a human being having a very public meltdown. And honestly, it's the best first date I've had in years. Usually, women your age try to hide this stuff. At least you're being authentic." The cruelty in his voice was breathtaking. This wasn't just someone being insensitive. This was someone actively enjoying my humiliation. I stood up abruptly, my chair scraping loudly against the floor. "I'm leaving." "Oh, come on, don't be like that. We haven't even ordered yet," David called after me, his voice carrying across the entire restaurant. This is the best part. As I hurried towards the exit, I could hear him still talking, probably narrating for his video. "And there she goes, folks. The great escape. Classic menopause behavior. Hot 1 minute, cold the next." His laughter followed me all the way to the door. I fumbled with my car keys in the parking lot, my hands still shaking from the adrenaline and humiliation. Through the restaurant window, I could see David at our table, phone in hand, probably already uploading his content. I drove home in a daze, replaying every moment, wondering how I'd misread the situation so completely. How had I been so wrong about him? How had I let myself become someone's entertainment? Little did I know, The real show was just beginning. 5. Climax. 1,000 palabras. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I could hear David's laughter echoing in my head. By 6 a.m., I was pacing my kitchen, coffee in hand, trying to process what had happened. Then my phone buzzed. A text from my daughter Emma. "Mom, you need to see this. I'm so sorry." She sent me a link to a TikTok video. My heart stopped. There I was, in all my sweaty, humiliated glory, with the caption, "When your Tinder date turns into a comedy show, look where menopause meltdown. Yeah, dating, fail, these middle-aged moments." The video had 15,000 views and climbing. The comments were brutal. "This is why men date younger women. Imagine being this desperate at 50 plus. She's literally melting. Leme. Oh! Poor guy probably ran home to shower." I called Emma immediately. "Honey, what do I do?" "Mom, I'm already on it. This is cyberbullying, and it's illegal to film someone without consent in Colorado. But first, let me do some digging on this David creep." While Emma worked her digital magic, I sat in my living room watching the view count climb. 20,000, 25,000. Each number felt like another person laughing at my expense. Then Emma called back, and her voice was different, excited. "Mom, you're not going to believe what I found." "What?" "David Morrison, 48, divorced father of 2, works in insurance sales. But here's the kicker. He's been doing this for months. I found his Reddit account, and he's been posting about his dating adventures with older women. He calls it Cougar Hunting Chronicles." "Mom, you're not his first victim." My hands clenched into fists. "What do you mean?" "He's got posts about at least 6 other women, all over 45. He specifically targets women going through menopause or divorce. He's been farming content off vulnerable women for internet points." The rage that filled me was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. This wasn't just cruel, it was predatory. "There's more," Emma continued. "I found his LinkedIn, his Facebook, his employer's website. And Mom, his ex-wife has a restraining order against him for harassment and revenge porn." Revenge porn? He posted intimate photos of her online after their divorce. She had to change jobs because of the harassment. "There are court documents, Mom. This guy is a serial abuser." Something shifted inside me. The shame and humiliation began transforming into something much more powerful. Righteous fury. "Emma, I need you to help me with something. Anything, Mom. I want to destroy him." 3 hours later, I was ready. Emma had helped me create a comprehensive response video. But first, I needed to make a phone call. I dialed David's number, my hands steady now. "Sarah, hey!" His voice was cheerful, completely oblivious. "I was hoping you'd call. Did you see the video? It's going viral. You're famous." "I saw it," I said calmly. "Isn't it great? I mean, I know you were embarrassed last night, but come on. It's actually pretty funny when you think about it. You should be thanking me. Most women your age would kill for this kind of attention. David, I have a question for you." "Shoot." "Does your employer know about your hobby?" Silence. "What hobby?" "The one where you target vulnerable women for internet content. The one where you've been doing this for months. The one where you violated a restraining order by contacting women online." The silence stretched longer. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Morrison Insurance Group, right? On 16th Street? I wonder what they'd think about their sales representative using their company phone to harass women, especially since some of those women were their clients." "You're bluffing." "Am I? Let me read you something. David Morrison repeatedly contacted plaintiff through various social media platforms despite court order prohibiting contact. That's from your ex-wife's restraining order filing. Public record, David." His breathing changed. "What do you want?" "I want you to take down the video." "Fine, it's down." "I want you to post a public apology." "Sarah, come on." "I want you to donate $5,000 to the National Menopause Foundation." "That's insane." "And David, I want you to call your ex-wife and apologize for what you put her through." "I'm not doing any of that. You can't make me." I smiled even though he couldn't see it. "You're right. I can't make you. But I can make sure everyone knows exactly who you are. Your employer, your children's school, your neighbors, your family. I can make sure that every woman in Denver knows to swipe left when they see your face. You wouldn't. Try me. I'm 52 years old, David. I've been through divorce, menopause, and now public humiliation. You think I'm afraid of a little internet drama? Honey, I eat men like you for breakfast. The line went quiet for a long moment. What's it going to be, David? The easy way or the way that ends with your face on every predator alert Facebook group in Colorado? David's voice cracked when he finally responded. Okay, I'll do what you asked. All of it? Yes, all of it. But I wasn't done. David, before you hang up, I want you to understand something. You didn't just humiliate me last night. You revealed exactly who you are. And now the whole world is going to know. Sarah, please. I'm not finished. You see, while you were busy laughing at my hot flash, you missed something important. You missed the fact that I'm a marketing director with 15 years of experience in crisis management and social media strategy. You missed that my daughter is a digital native who can trace your online footprint back to your high school yearbook photos. I could hear him breathing heavily on the other end. But most importantly, David, you missed the fact that women my age, we're not the weak, desperate creatures you think we are. We're survivors. We've raised children, built careers, survived marriages, and yes, we've survived our own bodies, changing in ways that would terrify most men. You picked the wrong woman to mess with. Within an hour, David had taken down the video and posted a public apology. But the internet never forgets, and Emma had already saved everything. Then something unexpected happened. David called back. Sarah. His voice was different now, smaller. I wanted to say something. I'm listening. I called my ex-wife, like you asked. He paused. She cried. When I apologized, she cried. I waited. I never realized. I knew she was upset about the photos, but I didn't understand how much it affected her. She said she still has panic attacks when she gets friend requests from strangers. She said she almost lost her job because people were showing up at her workplace. The silence stretched between us. Sarah, I think I'm sick, like mentally sick. Normal people don't do what I did to you, or to her, or to those other women. This wasn't what I'd expected. I'd been prepared for anger, for threats, for denial, not for this. What are you saying, David? I'm saying I need help. Real help. I've been telling myself this was just harmless fun, just guys being guys, but it's not, is it? It's cruel. It's predatory. His voice broke. My own daughter is going to be a teenager soon. What if someone did this to her? I found myself in the strange position of feeling something resembling sympathy for the man who had humiliated me less than 24 hours earlier. David, what you did was wrong. Not just to me, but to all those women. You turned our vulnerabilities into entertainment. I know. God, I know. And the worst part is I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed watching you suffer. What kind of person does that make me? It makes you someone who needs professional help. And it makes you someone who needs to make real amends. How? How do I fix this? I thought for a moment. You start by getting therapy. Real therapy, not just anger management. You need to understand why you enjoy hurting women. Okay. You follow through on the donation, and you make it $10,000, not $5,000. Done. And David, you contact every woman you've targeted and apologize. Personally. Not through social media, not through text. You call them and you take responsibility for what you did. Some of them blocked me. Then you find another way. You write letters. You go through mutual friends. You make it right. There was a long pause. Why are you helping me? After what I did? I considered the question. Because I have a daughter, David, and I have a son too. I want to live in a world where men like you get better instead of just getting away with it. I don't deserve your kindness. No, you don't. But maybe that's exactly why you need it. After we hung up, I sat in my kitchen, staring at my phone. Emma walked in, laptop in hand. Mom, you're not going to believe this. The internet found David's video before he took it down, and they're not happy. Justice for Sarah is trending. Women are sharing their own stories about dating predators. You've accidentally started a movement. I looked at the screen. thousands of women sharing their experiences, supporting each other, calling out at men who had treated them as entertainment rather than human beings. And Mom? David's employer called. They saw the video before he deleted it. He's been fired. I should have felt victorious. Instead, I felt something more complex. Justice, yes, but also a strange sense of responsibility. This had become bigger than just my humiliation. It had become a reckoning. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my favorite coffee shop writing this story, and my life looks completely different than it did that terrible Tuesday night. The video that was supposed to destroy me ended up changing everything, not just for me, but for countless other women who found their voices through my experience. Justice for Sarah became something I never expected, a movement. Women started sharing their own stories of dating predators, workplace harassment, and online abuse. The hashtag evolved into Karen.Menopause and Proud, celebrating the strength it takes to navigate this phase of life. I've received thousands of messages from women thanking me for showing them that humiliation doesn't have to be the end of the story. David kept his word, surprisingly. He's been in therapy for 5 months now and has contacted every woman he targeted. Not all of them responded, and I don't blame them, but several did, and they've told me that his apologies seemed genuine. His ex-wife even reached out to thank me for whatever I said to him that made him finally take responsibility. The $10,000 donation to the National Menopause Foundation funded a new support group program for women navigating dating after 50. They asked me to be a spokesperson, and I said yes. Turns out, being publicly humiliated for having a hot flash qualifies you to talk about menopause stigma. My dating life, well, that's taken an interesting turn too. The story went so viral that I started getting messages from men, real men, not predators, who were appalled by David's behavior and wanted to show me that not all guys are like him. I'm taking it slow, but I've had several lovely coffee dates with men who think my strength in handling the situation is attractive, not threatening. My daughter Emma and I are closer than ever. She started a consulting business helping women protect themselves online, and she credits our experience with David as her inspiration. Mom, she told me recently, watching you turn your worst moment into your greatest strength taught me more about resilience than any self-help book ever could. But the most unexpected change has been in how I see myself. That night at Romano's, I felt like my body had betrayed me. The hot flash, the sweating, the visible signs of aging. I was ashamed of all of it. Now, I wear my menopause like a badge of honor. I've survived my body changing in ways I couldn't control, and I've come out stronger. I've learned that there's a difference between being vulnerable and being a victim. Vulnerability is human. It's what connects us to each other. Being a victim is what happens when we let other people's cruelty define our worth. I refused to be David's victim, and in doing so, I discovered a strength I didn't know I had. The internet can be a cruel place, especially for women over 50. We're told we're invisible, irrelevant, past our prime. But here's what I learned. We're not invisible. We're just underestimated. And there's power in being underestimated. David thought he was targeting an easy mark, a desperate menopausal woman who would be too ashamed to fight back. Instead, he found a woman who had already survived the worst thing she thought could happen to her, her divorce, and discovered she was capable of surviving anything. To the women reading this, your hot flashes are not humiliating. Your changing body is not shameful. Your age is not a weakness. You are not too old, too desperate, or too anything. You are exactly who you're supposed to be at this moment in your life. And to the men who think women like me are easy targets, think again. We've been through childbirth, career challenges, family crises, and yes, menopause. We've literally survived our bodies betraying us and come out the other side. You think a little online bullying is going to break us? As for David, I hope he continues with therapy. I hope he becomes the man his daughter deserves to have as a father. I hope he learns that real strength comes from lifting people up, not tearing them down. And I hope he understands that the women he targeted weren't weak. They were just trusting. There's a difference. I'm dating again, by the way. Carefully, but confidently. I know my worth now in a way I didn't before. Any man who can't handle a strong woman going through natural life changes isn't the man for me. I'm looking for someone who sees my hot flashes as a sign that I'm human, not as entertainment. To everyone who supported me during this ordeal, thank you. Your messages, your shares, your own stories, they reminded me that I wasn't alone. That's the real power of the internet when we use it right. What about you? Have you ever turned your worst moment into your greatest strength? Share your story in the comments. Let's keep supporting each other. Because when women stand together, we're unstoppable. Hot flashes and all.